Hello, and welcome to Driving Digital SAT Success with Khan Academy. As teachers and students are navigating through the new digital SAT assessment this spring, we know how important it is to ensure your students are ready for the big day. My name is Elizabeth Hadley, and I am a District Success Manager with Khan Academy. And joining me today is Miss Corrine Gorner from Osceola County, Florida. Not only is Corrine a former colleague of mine, but she is also an amazing math coach at Topeka High School in Osceola County. Corrine has taught math in high school for over 2 decades, and she is now a very seasoned math coach in Osceola. In 2015, she discovered the benefits of using Khan Academy initially to help prepare her stepson for college, but today she now implements it with all of her teachers at her high school in preparing all of her students to get ready for the SAT. We're really excited to have Corrine with us today to share her insights of how she's implemented Khan Academy districts at her high school, how she motivates and engages teachers, and keeps students motivated for the big test day. Welcome, Corrine.
Thank you.
To get us started, let's just remind everyone that at Khan Academy, we are the proud and official partners with the College Board. That means when your students are practicing with our digital SAT reading and writing or digital math courses, that those questions that they're practicing with are authentic practice questions that are truly designed to help students prepare for the digital SAT. Our 2 courses involve and include 8 full-length practice tests, leveled exercises, videos, lessons, and strategies to help teach students all the skills that they need to know for the math or the reading and writing section. Lastly, our courses provide our students instant feedback and progress tracking to identify student strengths and weaknesses in the skills in our 2 courses. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the changes that your students can expect to see this spring with the new College Board Digital SAT. First and foremost, it is a new, shorter test with a new format and no essay. The biggest change is that students will experience a multi-stage adaptive technology, meaning that students will answer a series of questions in the first module, which will dictate their experience in the second module. These are 2 stages, and each stage is called modules. Students will also expect to see a shorter test. So the reading and writing, which is either 200 to 800 points for a score, but they will experience 27 questions and have 32 minutes for that module. For my ELA teachers out there, the biggest change for your content area is that the students' question formats are quite different from years past. Students will now experience shorter chunks of text with a text-dependent question. Instead of reading long reading passages of 1,200 words, now students will look at one short, quick piece of text and answer one text-dependent question on that short piece of text. For my math folks listening here today, students will experience those same 2 modules, just like ELA, Module 1 and Module 2. They will have 22 questions and 35 minutes to answer those questions. And the biggest change for math teachers is a calculator is allowed on all questions of the digital SAT math portion this year. Students will have an embedded Desmos calculator embedded within the Blue Book platform, or they're also allowed to have a handheld calculator with them as well. And I know all educators are so excited for this. We're looking at an approximate 2-hour testing experience, which is quite shorter than years past. So how can Khan Academy help our students actually prepare for this new testing format? Within our platform, we have the digital SAT reading and writing course, and then the math course. Within those courses, Teachers will expect to see units that contain in-depth lesson articles, video worked examples for students to practice with, and several practice exercises that measure their difficulty levels on 3 easy, medium, and more challenging on all of the skills within the courses. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that the reading and writing course has hundreds of digital SAT items aligned within 11 skills. And with the math, students will experience 37 unique skills and thousands of adapted practice items for them to practice through. Our teachers love our course challenges, quizzes, and unit tests because it provides them with actual skill progress data. So you can track exactly how your students are performing on these 11 skills in reading and writing and those 37 skills with math. Now, moving over to Corrine, with this transition to the digital SAT, so for years we've been working with our students on paper-based administration. How has Khan Academy this year helped you and your teachers and your students prepare for this upcoming switch to the digital platform?
Thank you, Elizabeth. So I kind of believe as an educator, the best way we can always prepare our students is to have them as familiar as possible with the material that they're going to be exposed to. So there is not any other tool out there, minus the little bit of practice tests that are within the Blue Book platform, that is this quantity of questions, this amount of practice that Khan Academy has. So I think really allowing our students to get on there, to practice with it, to become familiar with it over and over, week after week, that we've built into our curriculum, it's really given them the opportunity to feel confident in the moment. It's not going to feel new. It's not going to feel surprising. It will feel comfortable. And I think that's one of the best things we can do as teachers to support our students. As far as using this to support our teachers, one thing we've been really able to do within the Khan Academy platform, there is all of the information on about the digital SAT. And we've been able to use a lot of that to train our teachers, but as well, for them to pass along to their students. I've used that within a lot of small groups to work with groups of students that I've pulled out to make sure they're familiar, they're comfortable with what it's going to look like with the facts about the test, like you just mentioned in your previous slide, as well as with some of our dual enrollment students on both ends of the spectrum. We've been really working to make sure they're comfortable for test day, and I think this is the best thing out there as far as giving them that familiarity with the platform.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights. And I absolutely do believe this is the best way to just get our students used to answering questions and working through mathematical problems on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go live and let's actually see what is this content? What do these questions look like for our students in the platform? And I'm going to first actually navigate over to what Corrine was just mentioning about the digital SAT. So demoing here from a demo account, I'm going to start here on the teacher dashboard. This is what our teacher dashboard looks like for our teachers when they log in. If you are a Khan Academy district partner, your classes will be synced here with the rosters. But if at any time you would like to just preview what's in our courses, you can visit khanacademy.org, click on courses, and navigate right over to our digital SAT. And you'll see this brand new fancy new button here just to help navigate your eye to it. And when I get here to this landing page, I'm presented with that digital SAT math and that digital SAT reading and writing. Let's go ahead and start with math. And Corrine, just double checking, can you see the screen? Yes, okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much for confirming. All right, so here we are in the digital SAT math. This is actually what it does look like for students. You can see all of the units that we have in this platform. For math, we have 13 units. And within these units are actual skills, exercises, and challenges for students to work through. Now, just like what Corrine was talking about, here is that section, what is the new digital SAT. So again, this can be used with teachers in small groups or PLCs or after school training, but it can also be used with students so that they're familiar with what is the digital SAT and what will it look like and how can I prepare. There's even videos, frequently asked questions, and a section about the digital SAT, PSAT, and MSQT. These can be assigned to students, or again, they can be used in a whole group or with teacher training. Moving back over to the ELA course, this course also has the same unit at the very beginning about the digital SAT that walks students or teachers through the same type of content. But then you also see Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, and a grammar practice within our reading course. Now, I'm going to travel back to the teacher dashboard because I want to show you how teachers can specifically assign any of the content that are in these courses. So from that teacher dashboard, on the left side navigation, you'll see under assignments, assign. And as soon as the teacher has selected the course, if they need to, you can click edit courses. You're going to see kind of a similar view that I was just showing you. So here's all those units in the digital SAT math course. And all the teacher needs to do is expand out these units. And you can preview articles and videos and all of the things in that unit. And you can pick and choose to assign these specifically to students. So I selected 3 pieces of content, click assign. I can assign this to one or all of my sections, one or all of my students, and I can select a start time and a due time for my students and hold them accountable for completing these exercises that I'm assigning them. As you can see here in our math course, under that preparing for the SAT, we have a section on the calculators, time management, what to expect on test day, understanding scores. And again, all of these can be assigned to students. Down here, you can actually preview some of our content that's available in this platform. So if I open up our geometry and trig unit, you can see it starts with area and volume, and there's an article, 2 videos, and an exercise within this lesson. So perhaps I want to assign an article, a video, and I want students to demonstrate their understanding with an exercise. Simply click those 3 items, click assign, choose your classes or choose your students, click assign, and it immediately goes to the student's account. Once students are finished and they've completed your exercises that you've assigned to them, visit the scores area and you're able to see your student's name, the assignments that you assigned at the top, and the score that they received. If they watched a video, you'll get a check mark. And so that way you know they actually watched your video. So that is a brief overview of what's available in our courses and how you can assign content to students to keep them on track for the big test day. And so I'm going to turn our attention back to Corrine because this is something she's doing all the time on her campus with her teachers and helping support her math teachers. So our question is, Corrine, how do you monitor and measure the success within our digital SAT courses on your campus? What do you look for? What do your teachers look for on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
So I've made it a hard part of my Monday routine each week to set aside at least, I always aim for an hour, but on teacher time, but that's flexible.
Yeah.
But to get in there and to dig, and I look for trends, and I look for Monday morning. It's just part of my routine. I'm looking through all of our teachers. I'm looking and seeing if I can identify trends that are happening here or there, whether there's a room and a period where the students are really excelling, and I want to make sure I go in there and I celebrate that. I touch back with my admin, let them know that's a good spot to just pop in, celebrate. Obviously, there's good things going on during that time. Or the flip side of that, like to kind of alert me to like, okay, something's going on with this certain teacher's 4th period. Let me touch base with them and see, Is there maybe a classroom management issue that could be contributing to that? Is just the level of learning in there, does it need extra support? And is that a good place for me to spend the extra minutes I have in there weekly a couple times to kind of just be an extra set of hands for my teachers? So I kind of look through all those reports and I look for and identify trends on the period, the teacher side, but I also look for a lot of individual students that I'm working with, as far as like seniors that might be in danger of not graduating, and making sure that they're making progress each week, because they have in our state, we have the option to use an SAT score as a graduation requirement.
Yes.
So I want to make sure those students are making progress. But also I have our high achieving students, and I want to make sure they're not stuck on something. And I know, I've got certain kids that I have my eyes on that are really trying to get into some very competitive colleges, really trying to get their scores up. And that can kind of help me identify that maybe they're stuck, and I want to check in with them to see if they just need some extra help getting past a hurdle they might be on.
Mm-hmm.
And the same, I use the same conversations and I think the teachers, after seeing me do these sort of things now for going on what will be 3 years, they're starting to kind of model that same thing within their smaller group of students, and kind of see like, what period do they see a trend in? Is that a period to, reach out for me to come in and support them more? Or again, the reward side as well, to see who's doing really well and who to reward.
Great insights. And just for our audience, Corrine and her district partner with us and with our Khan Academy district side of things. And she's able to look into her teachers' classrooms and help support them each Monday as she's looking at the progress. Now, I'm going to jump back into Khan Academy and just kind of show the audience here, what does it look like for the teacher view? So in this teacher account, they're able to track on a classroom class period basis which students are working by learning minutes, and how many skills the students have leveled up within a particular course in any given date range. Now, Corrine, at your campus this year, you've been focusing on how many skills the students have leveled up, correct?
Right. So we had two different competitions that we decided to run this year. Our first semester competition was focused on skills leveled up. We were looking for classes amongst each type of class, AP classes, preparing for graduation classes, honors classes, that had students with the most skills leveled up. And then we had some celebrations for them. And then this semester, our focus is on individual students that get a certain percentage of their skills to proficiency. So we're going to be reaching out and, oh, there's my question. We're going to be reaching out and celebrating those kids with, we do a Woot Woot Wagon. So we'll be celebrating those kids as well through that.
Yeah, and some of my team members are really excited to visit for that. So here you see Corrine here on a very special day. Last year, we had the pleasure to visit her campus and actually see some of her students getting the big news that they were going to graduate because they had increased their SAT score after using Khan Academy. And so we appreciate your partnership, Corrine, and we know how special you are to our partnership there in Osceola County and all the great work that you've done. As part of our Khan Academy districts, what we pride ourselves is that as students are working and your schools are working and your administrators and coaches are working, as administrators, you are able to save time and see actionable reports. So that's what Corrine was just, speaking about, that, every Monday she's able to tap into all of her teachers and kind of take a look at, who may need support this week or who's actually doing okay and may not need her support, and really looking at the skills the students are exceeding in and maybe altering curriculum. With Khan Academy districts, you also receive automatic rostering of teachers, which also saves time with students logging in and helps you and your district and your leaders all see the progress that your students are achieving. With Khan Academy districts, you also get the support of a district success manager like myself. I work with lots and lots of school districts, and we are proud to work with the districts and helping align the content that you see in our digital SAT courses to the curriculum maps and the curriculum content that your teachers are actually teaching in the classroom. So it just kind of makes that natural sense for not only the student and also the teacher. And of course, our administrator dashboard is unique to our Khan Academy district partners, where you're able to look at trends on a district-wide or school-wide level, unlike any other reporting tools. And this not only helps you drive department decisions, but also helps you and your coaches and your leaders think about next steps in instruction. Now, we have worked quite a while with Osceola County, Florida, and Corrine specifically for implementing a culture surrounding Khan Academy on her campus and really helping students believe that they can increase their SAT score. And so, Corrine, I would love for you just to highlight your journey and the time you've worked with us at Khan Academy and just describe the culture that I know you've worked really hard to create at your high school, Topeka-Caliga, surrounding Khan Academy.
So I think you touched on it kind of back when you introduced me back in the beginning about how I really saw the value of it, using it. My first kind of introduction was all just kind of figuring it out myself, using it as a stepmom to a kid that needed a better SAT score, and really starting to see the value of like, wow, this is changing and this is working. And then starting to have a conversation with his friends' parents and that sort of thing. And then really started getting more comfortable and used it in my Algebra 1 classroom, just not even through the SAT lens at that point with my 9th graders, but just in the Algebra 1 content itself, as I was kind of still learning and getting my feet wet as well. At that time, we did not have any district partnership with Khan Academy. So any sort of learning and support, I was like finding on YouTube, emailing Khan Academy, finding someone else that knew what they were doing, listening at a conference, whatever it might have been. And I think over these past several years, it's really just come to, in education, there are so many things that, as we all know, that come and go and that change. And there's a lot of curriculum that sort of fits what you need it to fit, whether it's curriculum for a specific course or a test like the SAT. And a lot of things are close to fitting, or they're melded to fit. But honestly, tried and true, this is correct and this does fit. And I feel like that's why I have fallen so in love with it and really committed to making sure that the students are receiving the benefit of that. So I think when I changed from just being from being a classroom teacher to being kind of helping others create what works in their classroom in the role that I'm in now, this is one of the very first things I spoke to them about. And I just said, like, it's not going away. Like it's here to stay, and it's correct. The questions give the right answers. The support is there. Things that you run into with other platforms and other programs, I did not run into with Khan Academy. And I think that really, really helped with the buy-in from my teachers as well. So I think having that like standard of like, it worked, it's correct, and we're getting results. So when we started using it at my school 3 years ago, when we really started using it school-wide, we had a massive shift in test scores, and not just SAT test scores, but test scores for end of courses, test scores for district common assessments, all of the things. And we just kind of really started to realize like that has been the biggest force of change that we have used as far as the curriculum side. So obviously something's happening, and I think that really helped with the buy-in. And the students were seeing a difference too in their data.
Yeah, and just like that picture we showed a moment ago, that was just a really proud day where that student learned, her future was very bright. Well, Corrine, it was such a pleasure having you today and speaking with you and having you share your insights. We thank you so much for all the hard work that you do every single day for not only your students, but your educators. And for those watching, we thank you so much for joining our webinar today and learning on how to prepare your students for the digital SAT. If you have any questions or you would like more information about any of the content that we spoke about today, please feel free to contact us at districts.khanacademy.org. And again, thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful day.